What's up guys, welcome back to Cine Club. As you probably already know, I am Maria and this is a show where we watch new movies and I review them for you. And the movie I saw this week was Disney's Maleficent. I feel like for the past few years there has been this trend in movies where they take characters that you've always known as villains and they make them into more complex and tragic characters so they become more appealing to us and you end up sympathizing with them. And such is the case of this alterated version of Sleeping Beauty. While still focusing on the fairy tale we all know, clearly the movie is about the villain this time. Maleficent is the most powerful fairies of all and she wants nothing to do with the kingdom nearby and the humans that live in it. She protects the forest against them because Maleficent doesn't trust the humans except one of them. And at one point Maleficent is betrayed by the one human she cares about in the most cold-hearted way. And she turns vindictive and hateful. And so the fairy tale you know so well takes place. When the princess is born, she shows up at the christening and takes her revenge by casting a spell on the little girl. When the sun sets upon her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger. You get it, you know it. Since the main hype and the promotion about this movie was the fact that Angelina Jolie was going to play Maleficent, let's start with her. The trailers and the pictures make her look so villainous and mesmerizing that was everybody could talk about, and that was the main reason everybody wanted to see this movie. And the hype did play out well because Angelina Jolie in this movie, for a lack of a better word, is magnificent. She really is. I don't think Angelina Jolie has been in a movie since The Tourist, and that was about 4 years ago. So when people started to hear that she was going to play Maleficent, the first reaction was, of course, I mean, who else could play this person? She really is mesmerizing in the movie. She has such a presence and authority every time she's on screen. The famous christening scene where she shows up and everybody's terrified of her and she's all smiles and quiet and polite, but there's such an edge to her and you know what's coming up. Ooh, it just gives you chills. She was funny, she was witty, she was cool and collected and powerful. I think she played the role perfectly. She truly outshines everybody in this movie, and it's not just her performance. The costume designs, the makeup, even the visual effects of the kingdom forest where she lives and protects just enhances the whole experience of understanding this character. And speaking of visuals, I would not have expected anything less from the director Robert Stromberg, who was the production designer of other visually striking movies like Avatar, Alice in Wonderland, and Oz the Great and Powerful. The story flows very well. It never felt like it dragged on in any particular part, but that's probably because your main character is just always so interesting to watch. They really develop her properly from beginning to end, and I have to give them credit for that. It is Angelina Jolie's show, but it's done so organically. This one-dimensional villain that you know from such a long ago fairy tale becomes a full-fledged person throughout the movie. However, because Angelina's performance is so well done, nobody else seems to shine in this movie. Her biggest enemy is Aurora's father, King Stefan. King Stefan is played by Sharlto Copley. He's a South African actor, and you might know him from movies like District 9 or Elysium. There is an interesting connection between King Stefan and Maleficent that is established early on in the movie, but I feel like after a while they didn't use it as much, and they really should have. While they keep developing Maleficent's character, King Stefan stays as the lunatic king who's obsessed with destroying Maleficent, and that just pretty much leaves him as a one-dimensional character. Which is kind of funny because you took a villain to make it very complex and interesting, but you left her villain in this movie as very one-dimensional and with just a single purpose. Princess Aurora, played by Elle was lovely. She is a ray of light and happiness and all the qualities Aurora tends to have. I didn't expect them to do much with her since she's clearly not the main character, but even in the original Disney story, her lines are very limited and the story revolves more around her. It's not so much about her. But I think they handled the character well enough to keep the story going. However, I did have a big problem in the way they handled Prince Phillip. I get that this time around the movie is not exactly a love story, but he is such a minor character that you shouldn't have even bothered putting him in the movie. In the original one, he's the one who slays the dragon and rescues the princess, and he's a very big part in that last act. It's such a key point to the original story, and they just completely brushed it off. Speaking of dragons, they tease you in the trailers with just a glimpse of a dragon, and then suddenly you remember that Maleficent can actually turn into a great big green fire-breathing dragon, and you get so excited because maybe there'll be like an awesome final battle with a dragon and you don't know who's gonna win because we're really on Maleficent's side this time around. And I can't tell you much else about it because it would be a spoiler, but all I can say is that if you're looking forward to a great dragon scene, you should just watch The Desolation of Smaug, because you won't get it in this one. Is that a spoiler? I'm sorry. I'm just saving you some pain. Another thing that really upset me about this movie was how they handled the three fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. I understand that Maleficent is the most powerful fairies of all in this movie, and it's her movie, fine, I get it. But you cannot completely discard the three most active characters in the original movie. These three fairies are the ones that truly care about Aurora. They're the ones who add the whole true love's kiss in the end so Aurora doesn't die. They're the ones who take her to the forest and raise her as their child. They're the ones who give the sword of truth and the shield of virtue to the prince. I mean, they're constantly there making stuff happen. They're tough little ladies. And in this movie, they just turn them into these dim-wit, comic relief characters. They feel completely irrelevant and useless to the movie. You feel like everything could have carried on the same way without them there. And to make such important characters into these stupid little fairies is a big mistake on the director's part. My main point is, the movie pulls down all the other characters so Maleficent can stand out. And I don't think that was necessary because Maleficent by herself is an amazing character. She doesn't need everybody to be smaller around her for her to be incredible. So if you had developed all the other characters just a little bit more, you could have had a much better movie. And the result is this muddled and distorted version of Sleeping Beauty that you will not recognize. Don't get me wrong, I am very pro changing many things about a fairy tale to make it more realistic and translatable to a live-action movie. But when you decide to literally change every detail of a very well-known fairy tale just because you want to be different, you are heading into very dangerous territory. There were just things that didn't need to be changed or minimized to make this movie great. And that's the moment where you feel like the movie is going off track, when they try to create all these twists and all these peaks that didn't need to be there for this to be an enjoyable movie. So if I had to rate this movie for you, I would still tell you it's worth watching in theaters. On the upside, it's worth watching Angelina Jolie be Maleficent. It's incredibly mesmerizing, it's visually beautiful, it's entertaining, it's got a good rhythm, a good pace. On the downside, they change absolutely every detail of the fairy tale, and if you are looking to see a Sleeping Beauty movie, this won't be the one for you. If you have it in mind that it will be completely different, you will enjoy it. I would love to talk to you more about all the things they change in the movie, but if I do, I would literally spoil every single thing in this movie for you. But in a few days, I will upload a spoiler version of this review, so if you've seen the movie and you want to talk about all the crazy stuff they did with it, we can do that in just a few days. But hey guys, that's just my opinion. Tell me, what did you think about Maleficent? If you haven't seen it yet, tell me, what Disney story would you love to see in a live-action movie? I have actually thought about this a lot, and I can't tell you all my answers here, so my next movie talk video will be about the 5 Disney stories I think would be fantastic for live-action movies. If you happen to be interested in that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because I will be uploading that video in the next few days. But guys, that's everything I think about Maleficent. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed talking to you about this movie. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That is always appreciated. And if you really like the video, go ahead and share it with somebody else. Like I said before, don't forget to subscribe for more movie reviews and movie talks. I got a new video every week for you. And don't forget to find me on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I will leave all the information down below. That's it for this episode of Cine Club, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching as always. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you on our next movie date. If I could summarize this movie in one word for you, it would be finally. Finally, an X-Men movie that is worth watching. But now I can safely say that the X-Men movie I have been waiting to see is finally here.